time. I find, like, this game's very interesting, and I think there's, like, many things going on with it. It's, like, one of my favorite games. But it's been a while since I played it.
Let's see if we can find what you wanted me to see. Oh, here's my old desk. I wasted so much time in this chair.
Little Dan, darling, delicious bacon soup.
Guess it took a few people to replace me.
I love this. I just love doing this. It's just like, whoo, whoo. This game's so funny, but also just so, in a way, good. I remember, like, when it first came out, like, how different it was into what it is now, but it's like, even then, it's still really well done, really good. Good, and they've just improved it. I think it's partly because, like, they went, it was like Rooster Teeth Studio then.
This lift could use a few dry cells.
Like, Rooster Teeth, like, and like the Joey Jersey me. I think they all had a hand in it. They would update the chapters after, like, the release of a next chapter. So, like, chapter 3 gets released, they update chapter 1 and 2 to be cohesive and have a style, but, like, in the next game it's a kind of different style, but still the same premises is, like, of style is still very much there. I find that actually very intriguing. Is that a cry? But often because I play this game so much, I'm not really as scared of it or anything. Like, the jump scares that this game has right now aren't frightening to me.
Put this here. Oh my god. Joey, what are you doing?
I think it's just a very interesting game. And, like, people, like, will bring up, like, people compare, like, Poppy Playtime to this, and it's like, in a way I could see it, way I can't. Poppy Playtime didn't really hint to, like, the next monster in like, the other chapters, and they're like, well, this game does and did. And they also don't go back and updated the other chapters, while this game they did. That's just a little thing. It's still, my playing time's still pretty good. Good. Because it's still pretty good. It's just, that's a little pet peeve. Also, Poppy Playtime is way harder on the computer. Way harder on, like, the computer system. And, like, that's a little, like, thing. It's like, it ain't easy on this whole computer. On a computer, it's harsh at times. That doesn't mean it's, like, a bad game at all. Because some gamers are really good at it. I already own this book, the Illusion of Living. It's really good. It's just, in a way, interesting. In a way, both these games, like, and often not, like, a common complaint with Poppy Playtime is it's, like, more focused on pushing products and, like, and less about the game. But you could say the same thing about this game in a way. You could say the same thing about, like, the more bendy and ink machine stuff. It's like they're still making content, they're still pumping it out, they're still producing it. So we could technically make the argument that both for con. But the main thing with this one that's different than the original Poppy Playtime is the Zam Animation people, the people behind it, were left the Poppy Mob Entertainment because it got more focused on profit other than the
I just need to get the ink flowing
then
somehow. Should be a switch around here somewhere.
other than the actual
Main power.
fun or the game or the idea, and in a way that's a complaint, and that's a valid complaint. Why would you can kind of see that with Poppy Playtime? It's like some of these characters are way more marketable tools, but it's like you can also say the same thing with this game because like you got the Bendy doll. Come on, that is like you can obviously sell that. They probably do. Yeah, they probably do. They also have like a load of t-shirts and stuff, and I have a few, and like all the other things, secondary merch and other stuff. So, yeah. But I guess the purpose of it was not initially to sell objects, toys, games, but to make it fun. To make but to make a game and have fun with it. Well, I guess with Poppy Playtime, it was to sell. To some extent, yeah, it became to sell quite quickly. But that doesn't mean it's a bad game at all. But other than that, but that doesn't, oh, fun fact, he does not move your this at all, because that initially was like they're gonna do that, but they didn't, because it's like, well, this could ruin the product, the gameplay, for the fun of the games. But like, these products and stuff, but like, you can make the argument with like, so many other things. Fifty-year-old soccer here kind of sounds like, but it's very interesting, like this stuff. But in a way, it kind of reminds me like how War of the Worlds, like the War of the Worlds movies and shows. Like one of the first Rule the World sees the radio play, the disc and like stuff, and it's like it's very creative. It uses like synthesizer and more technology to more human like regular music, like guitars and stuff, to symbolize like the Martians and you. But then the more modern movie where it's like a Zoom call movie, was really boring. I saw it and my whole family hated it. Me and my whole family hated it. We just did not. That was bad. That was crap. Main reason it was crap was because it really didn't feel like it get really the point of the thing. The movie of like the War of the Worlds. It feels more like a waste of time, and it's like this guy's like, and it could have emphasized more on this man's like fear and worry about like for his family, or his friends, or something else. If you really go on to this, in a way that'd be more akin to like the original, which is like, oh, you could probably argue like, well, that's the original, like. But like in a way it did well because in a way you had this driving force. He loses hope, but he keeps going on the shred of hope that his wife is alive or not, and like they witness like things happen. Then you see he meets up with the old artillery men in the second act, and it's like, and you get the Brave New World. I think a good brave part for the Brave New World for the Zoom would have been me with like the bad guy thing, the government. Because you keep like a lot of the tech stuff and like.
See if I can find a way out.
Because in a way this would convey a new fear, while the original fear was about original Man War of the World Martian was the fear of the unknown. Is like, I just hit my mic. I'm sorry. It was the like, there is a chance of life. Is this life good? Is this bad? Could they hurt me? Will they hurt your family? Like, in the Martians. Well, the modern one was more about like all our technology was more about like our government doing things that actually don't help us or do anything good for humanity. Was like our government like doing things knowing it could cause harm but does nothing and putting us all in danger, and that was like the fear. And I think you could really do something. How I would rewrite it is like you could still have that Zoom meeting. You could still have the Zoom meeting. You could still have the Zoom meeting setting. But you could see him go like through cameras and stuff to see if his family, his loved ones are fine or safe. Them calling, asking like for safety advice, and like you see stuff and like see cameras and watching the news, watching the horrors and like unfold, and like he wants to stop it, so he tries and like, but he doesn't know how, and then he finds out. I don't get rid of the hacker plot. That's my least favorite plot. Because, oh, big bad, like, you could still have the mom's parents, just not your son, because that gives you, like, an actual motivation. But, like, everything else is fine. It's, like, confronts, but, like, his son could still be a conspiracy theorist and be like, yo, the birds, their cameras, all of them are a lie. Would be funny. And he would be alright or, like, sharing his content, but not directly to him. Or I could. I personally just, I don't like it that much, but I think it could work. The main problem with it was it's the Zoom meeting setting in a way I feel like inhibits the potential of it. Inhibits the potential of this game, of like the story, because, well, it does. I think what could work would be, again, as I said, searching through every cameras, working with others, trying to find a solution, so they find, and like they could just end with a good note, but I do like the original note of like, a lot of people are like he flicks through cameras, people are dead. In the end, it's off. The Zoom thing ends, and you see him leaving the building to see it, and like he's willing to sacrifice himself for what he loves, for everything. He's lost hope. He's afraid. He's scared. So he sacrifices himself, or he tries to. But then he realized the Martians are dead. In a way, this movie was like a day, when the original, it was way longer than a day. It could not be a day, because the bacteria is what killed humanity, killed the Martians in the end. But these can be a different story, and like with the Brave New World, like the villain thing, he was like saying, oh well, we could still survive. Everyone else can die. We'll survive, and our family and the people are more important. We'll survive. And we'll rebuild. We won't care about everything else, just this. It'll be a different tone to the Brave New World, while the original Brave New World is like the artilleryman. He's the one like singing and saying stuff about like, hey, guess what? Saying stuff such as like we can make a new world together. His brain is good, but he's very strong. And the fear that bad things can happen. It's the fear that it's the fear that does it. It's a nightmare. It's scary. And it's like, you see him go through and arc himself, and it's like trying to help people, but things go wrong, they die, and in the end day, he even leaves the artillerymen to save himself, while the Martian kills him. That's legit what happens. I'm not. In a way, you could interpret like the last part of the song is like him pleading for his life, saying, to the Martian itself, being like, like humanity will keep going. It's like we're not gonna die. And said, but also one funny thing I want to point out about the original Martian World of Worlds Martians, they ate people. I take a picture of this so I can just do this. But it's like one of them eats someone with a blood-borne disease. He is not having a good time. He's probably out like a light. He's probably gone forever. But man, I find that aspect funny, but also in a way it's terrifying. In a way that it's also equally terrifying because they're eating humans, eating people. But I also think this could but also I feel like this also emphasizes the bass fiddles. The banjo playfully plugs. Because. Did it! Yeah! But it's emphasized a different part. But in the day, it doesn't have to emphasize that part of humanity. It could be a fear, but in general, I just do not like it. But if it's obvious, I really... Hi. What the? Ah, shit, I forgot that! I forgot that! I was like, I don't need to get scared by this game. But then that happened, and yeah, that was wrong. The fear and the reason like this fear is
There's no valve. Where did it go?
the reason like I don't like it was just it was pretty poor, but it could be really good. Down here we're all sinners. Yep, makes sense. Yeah.
Thing holding my valve?
So she worked on the slide. I just find that stuff interesting, but I also think it's
I like the quiet, and that's hard to come by in these busy times. And yeah, sure, it may stink to high heaven down here, but
it just kind of.
perfect for an old
I feel like it could have been better, but it's fine.
bounce. But if I didn't get away once in a while, they'd never have any words to go with them. So I'll keep my mind to singing and my nose closed.
Honestly, create a solution to your problem. Though the concern... Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for this.
Sorry I had to do that. Nice hat though.
It's just... It's sad. I really do think, like, it could have been better. But in a way that's, like, different iterations have a different way to sell or different story to tell themselves. You see this with, like, modern iterations. But, like, people will get, like, fussing about, like the Cinderella, the new, like, the Cinderella, like, movie that's coming out, like, where focus more on the sisters and, like, the stepsisters aren't evil. It's... But, like, originally they are. So, what does that mean? Some people ask, what does that mean? This is like a fan song. This is re-entering. This is really cool. The fear and nightmare that this game has, the fear can be different. I think you can emphasize different aspects. I just kind of see a cartoon character like, oh, freeze. This is an emphasis on different parts. My fault, just fell. A different emphasis on different things makes sense, and I think what would work best for this new Cinderella iteration, though, would be this focus on the evil, that the stepmother is still evil, because frankly in the original she is evil. But I do think it would be a good idea to tell different stories, and how we found out that, like, if we tell a story from like a different point of view, like the monster's point of view or the Martians, it would be different than what we do, because it will be justifying their actions, moralizing it. It's very interesting, really. Because like if we tell the story from like a vampire's perspective, then the original looks sources, it'd be a bit different than a human's perspective. It doesn't necessarily make it good, but I can justify it and like be a different perspective. And I really do like
the ritual must be completed.
The scary.
Soon he will hear me. He will set us free.
Calm down, Sammy. Didn't you like drink ink or hit your head? Oh no. The fear and like of it all is important. Different perspectives do a lot, and people are afraid of like these stories being changed when it's like, when I actually think it's a good thing that new modern narrations change and the story's a bit different. How the characters are portrayed, what they look like changes, because it coincides with all who we are. So because like, why should a original story from 100 years ago, why would a modern retelling iteration be beat for beat the same? One, none. But like we see this with like, but again, doesn't mean these things are always gonna be good, because like when you good or even make sense in the actual story. Because we see this with like the more modern retellings of like things, but I do also think there's a benefit to them. Like the Ariel movie that people were up in arms about because Ariel was now black. I will say the game itself, it looked up like the characters that were transferred from live action from art to did look ugly, like particularly like the fish and stuff and like Sebastian the lobster, sir crab. That one freaks me out. It freaks me out. And sometimes these reiterations, these live action ones, miss the mark and like aren't as good, though they can be good. These different telling. Think about the Odyssey a lot. It gets retold a million ways, and there's different iterations, different stories. We truly do not know what the original Odyssey was, but the most well known is the Homeric one. But there's a billion there's loads of translations. In some translations, it's gonna be this. In some translations, Odysseus has sons that are not with Penelope. They're with. That's actually no. That's a theogony. That is in the theology. My bad. But it's also, these iterations can tell a different story, tell a new meaning.
I'm not getting out of here that easy. You to open the door, but the lever's missing. Boris probably has it. Hey, buddy, you using that lever handle around? Or are you holding it hostage until I make you something to eat?
I do find it very interesting because these different iterations, different stories, have different meanings, It's very good. I like these different interpretations because I find them in a way refreshing, but also sweet, nice, and a load of other things.
That should be enough.
But I also will genuinely just criticize them. Like, but that doesn't mean they're devoid of, like, actual issues, because when you look into it, there are issues with these reiterations, retellings.
Here you go.
But the mark can be very different than, like, other marks. So, like, what beat they will say, what story they will tell can be very different. When we see, like, the Jorge, like, the epic musical,
Let's see what's out there.
it emphasized a different aspect. Okay, I believe Alice Angel made these. Or not, it's gonna be but, like, a different...
Looks like it's really dark up ahead. Let's find some light. Don't be scared, boys. Keep the light near you so you don't get lost.
These different narrations have different meanings and different things in different ways, but a lot of times people like to say, no, this is the right interpretation, this is the wrong interpretation. To some extent, yeah, you could
Yeah, me either.
to some extent, you could completely miss an iteration or, like, interpretation or be completely off mark. But to another extent, it's like, you can be, there's technically no right answer, because
Another dead end.
it's not like we can
Don't see any other way
go
through.
back in time and ask Homer himself or whoever originally made it what their real story was, what their interpretation was. It's open to interpretation, what they meant, but a lot of times they emphasize, like, the Odyssey emphasized Xenia, which is hospitality, and how the ways it goes right and wrong. We see that loads of times. That's my personal favorite.
Wow.
Like, you see this with the suitors, but also you see this in, like Odysseus, like, violating it himself.
Back to the old grind.
Because you would see him violating it himself.
Why is there always something blocking the door? Gotta be a way through.
I don't be seeing what the big deal is. So what if I might wait
A different emphasis in, like, things is very good, but also can be very bad. Really depends on what you think is the problem. One interpretation or one rewrite is not wrong, and I think a lot of people forget that. But also, people also get really up in arms about, like, everything. I actually have a lot to say about this character, because I personally love her, but I also have an interpretation of, like, her character. Doesn't mean I'm right or wrong, but it's open to interpretation. In a way, I see this character as I see this Alice Angel or Susie Campbell. Susie, as a way of, like, how in a way, partly of like jealousy and the strive for beauty is contained to make someone evil, but also the fact that like the pressure of being beautiful causes a lot of issues and harmful to not only the person, causes harm to the person, Sid, and the character. Causes harm to this character. What I mean by that is Susie has this expectation that she should be beautiful. It's what she's good for. It's what she has to be. She has to be perfect. She has to be Alice Angel. So what does she do? She does harm to make herself beautiful. She makes you do it. She insults. She thinks she's better. But also, deep down, she feels like a monster, that she's ugly and stuff. But frankly, she's quite evil. But also, it's because she's been hurt. It's because how she's been treated. In a way, this Alice is the manifestation of her. Is how her Alice Angel is how she feels, how she was made to feel by people like Joey Drew and him not giving her the memo that she was no longer playing Alice Angel.
Boris, oh, you're scared to death.
But
It's
that's a
to protect ourselves with.
thanks. But instead, we got in a different interpretation of this story and this game, this memory.
Looks like to open this, we need to throw 2 levers at once. You get this one. I'll find the other.
Alright, let's go over this again. If the pressure goes over,
The problem,
I screw the safety bolt in.
hello, is this feminine, is like, expectation has caused her to be hurt. And you can, and the real life connotations of this is how people treat women and femininity, how it's expected that girls should be feminine, and how women themselves get degraded for aging or not fitting this standard. Intriguing. When you like women get insulted for not being standard or like called ugly or whatever. And there's this fear of like aging that women have. So they even affects and it affects young girls now. To the point that this fear affects young girls now. Like it's straight up advertised to young ladies. Like you get like, because like they're like, this product is for young girls, and they're like advertising it to like and like how advertised it is and how actual scary it is. There's just something kind of and like this expectation, but this expectation is also put on men because the beauty standard for men is being hyper masculine, being strong, buff, being the expectation is to be the caregiver, to be the protector, the breadwinner. And we see this. That's word. But we see this, and it's also harmful because, like, some men have developed an eating disordered eating and such of like they're not eating enough. They're eating only gym stuff, like protein bars, whatever. We see this now come with women too when it comes to like Ozempic, GLP-1s, and like these injections to like make you thinner. to make you thinner and like skinnier. And because now their protein has risen because people aren't eating enough, much because the lack of proteins and stuff, your muscles and bones start decaying, you atrophy. So they have to eat protein. But now people are doing that, eating just protein to lose weight. And we get to the point where it's like you eat too much protein, you start gaining weight again, not losing it. But also you're eating dangerous levels of protein. Run, boys, run. You're eating a dangerous level of it because people do not know how to portion it. It's not 1 gram per pound. I'm sorry, buddy.
Look around. It took so many of them to make me so beautiful. Anything
Well,
less than
and
perfect
the expectation that
I had to do it. She made me.
Who would have thought? Me having lunch with Joey
this is an example of like Susie getting treated differently and being told that she should be like Alice or like being called Alice because that's like something very, and it's being targeted, so like saying like she's ideal.
He even called me Alice.
And these any like beauty standard can be very harmful and stuff. To some extent, it's like a beauty standard or some standard isn't necessarily wrong or bad if it's something minor. It's like an ideal thing. If it's not me, I don't really find harm in abusing this because like even then like this, but there are problems with it. She wants to be like that Alice so much. She does this. It's hard. There is no price in how good she is.
Now we come to the question.
She's trying to like make herself beautiful with any means possible.
Do I tear
When the issue is not it's something she can't control, and that's how it feels at times.
How's a girl
I see like images. I come across like some images of like people like doing the quote unquote morning shed, and it's like you got like a lot of skin products all over your face.
to my door?
It's frankly frightening.
Touch me. It could have pulled me back.
I also see this as like in a way of like trauma and like I think I also interpret that scream particularly about trauma.
Screaming well of voices. Bits of your mind swimming like fish in a bowl.
When she's vulnerable and scared, her voice gets more
Inky.
meat.
Was a wiggling, pussing, shapeless slug. The second time. Well, it made me an angel. I will not let the demon touch me again.
I interpret this like a trauma response of like she's got something happened,
So, almost.
and then she's trying to heal from her trauma by doing harm.
Yes,
She wants to be perfect and she thinks doing this will, but in a way she's acting like the person who hurt her. She's acting as like the entity that hurt her.
easy,
Beep.
weensy little favors for me first.
In general, this is why I love this Alice. There's so much going on. I love it, but I do think a lot of these theories as well. Well. That is indestructible. There are some pretty interesting things you could say about any of this story. There's many ways you can interpret her story, what she means, what's going on with her. You can also not interpret it at all. So little, but I'm also
My machines are hungry. Gather me some spare parts.
I really do have a love for this game and this storytelling. How little story.
There are so few rules to our world now. So little trees. one rule we all know and respect down here. Beware the ink demon. Stay out in the open for too long and he will find you. For if you see him, you better hide. If you don't, well, I enjoyed our date. Now, let us begin our work.
Well, I'm ending the video here.
Better get over to
But anyway, I'm ending the video. Have a good day. Have a nice day. And hope everything's going well. Good luck. Bye.